Welcome back to Round of the Bases Extra Innings. 4 final questions with Jeff Gueldner, who has written the book Without You, A Story of Thanks and Appreciation, alongside of our friend Jeff Bolig. The first question, you're sitting there rocking a really sweet Kansas Jayhawks sweatshirt and a Drake Bulldogs hat. I know, but it's got that good vintage look. All right, we already established in the audio version of the podcast, which, by the way, if you're watching this and you haven't listened to it, check it out wherever you get your podcasts. You got a daughter playing basketball at Drake, of course, former national champion at KU. How much KU gear do you have? And did I read that you try to never leave the house without wearing a piece of it?
It's a semi-running joke. Yeah. Even with my stepkids, that they'll look to see where's the KU stuff. And so I've had to kind of start wearing some socks occasionally, KU socks, just to make sure that it's always there. But a lot of it is old, but and if you were to ask my wife, I wear way too much of it. But I've got one more year of kind of split cheering here with my daughter at Drake, and then I'll be back to 100% KU all the time. It's a joke, but there's a lot of pride involved too. And plus, it's red, white, and blue. What's better?
Yeah, right. Rock chalk. Second question, as we round the bases. This isn't a fair question, so you don't have to pick, but who's the best athlete in your family?
Best athlete in my family. I guess it would, it's an interesting topic. Without getting too into the weeds, I have this debate with a lot of people. What is an athlete? Is an athlete somebody who can run the fastest or jump the highest, or is it the ability to play a sport and to have hand-eye coordination? There's nobody in my family that can touch me in terms of hand-eye coordination, playing tennis, playing golf, that kind of thing. Now, one of my twins ran distance at KU, so she was a hell of an athlete in her own right as far as being able to run and the endurance that she had. My daughter at Drake is a very good athlete, works a lot harder in the weight room than I ever did. But as far as being able to put a bat on a ball or to be able to play a hand-eye coordination sport, there's nobody that can hang there.
Do you get out with your daughter? And I don't know if horse is the way to go nowadays or whatever, but are you guys shooting with each other?
Used to. Now it's and it's ironic that her personal workout coach, as she got older, obviously I was coaching her. Maybe it's not obvious. I coached her along the way. And you get to a point where it's like, okay, I can't find enough good players for her to play with or play against. It's time for her to go the club route. And she went played for Eclipse here in Kansas City and had great teammates, great coaches, great experience there. Her personal workout coach that my ex-wife got for him actually is now married to one of my twin daughters. So, you get to a point to where, at least I did, the fundamentals of the game are not as much fun for me to talk about or to teach as playing the game. What did you see here? Why did you do this? Why, when you see this, you need to look at doing this, or, little things about how to play. I'll talk about all day long, but she's way beyond, hey, this is how you hold the ball, this kind of thing. You got to be able to fix that on your own at this stage of the game.
All right, third question as we round the bases. We talked during the audio version of the podcast about those what-if moments that come up really every day in life and on the basketball court or the baseball diamond or the, wherever it is, the football field. But let's talk about a favorite moment. What is your favorite moment during your playing career at KU?
Well, there were a bunch. Obviously, win a national championship, nothing's going to take away from that. But have an opportunity as you look back to play for 2 Hall of Fame coaches. Who would have thought? And then to have such a good relationship with another one in Bill Self. That's not really a direct answer, but when you look back on the things that I'm most fond of, it is the opportunity to be around people that have done so much for the game and to have learned and played for them and to have an opportunity. They saw enough in me to give me that opportunity. Coach Brown to bring me in, Coach Williams not to kick me out and allow me an opportunity to play for him. And he's coming in this weekend for induction into the College Basketball Hall of Fame. I'm looking forward to seeing him. There are so many little individual things, but my career kind of culminated at the Final Four that year. My senior year, we didn't make it, but I won the national 3-point shooting contest. And that was something that was just me. So that was kind of neat to kind of put a bow on everything. something that was just me. And again, can never be taken away.
Yeah. And the three coaches you mentioned, all legendary, as good as it gets. And of course, anyone that has followed any bit of Kansas basketball knows that, or any of the millions of teams that Coach Brown coached for, and the less than a million teams that Roy Williams coached for, and of course, Coach Self here now. A guy that, by the way, I'll get off topic here for just a second. How does he remember every single person? I've never seen anything like it.
He's unbelievable. Until I got to know Bill, Dick Vitale is that way. He just walked up to me at a game. I was in my junior year. Didn't know me from Adam, but he knew where I was from, who my high school coach was, the whole deal. I mean, this is Dick Vitale. And I remember walking into Bill's office when he got hired and just was going to kind of reintroduce myself, because I'd only casually met him at that time, way back in the day. Again, knew where I was from, knew my high school coach, knew everything there was to know about me. And people who don't know him don't understand how unbelievable it is. And it's why I know that's why he's so good in terms of building relationships and the recruiting processes. He doesn't forget anybody. You burn an impression in his brain, and it's unbelievable. It really is.
Yeah. I mean, I think I interviewed him once when I worked in St. Louis when he was at Illinois, because it was far enough away. That's really your old neck of the woods, or at least close to it. But we weren't driving from St. Louis to Champaign. It might be like Big 10 days or whatever they called it, and that was it. And then I come to Kansas City, and he's at KU, and first time I meet him, he goes, I remember you, and I may see Coach Self every 2 or 3 years, and almost now, as a joking matter to myself, I'll reintroduce myself to him, and that pisses him off, because he's just like, know who you are, and he watches baseball and all that too. But it's just we all could be so much better if we had that ability. I got sidetracked, but of all the things that people talk about him and all of his attributes, that's the one that I don't know how you can teach. He just has that it factor in terms of that. I don't know. There's some people that could do that. I'm not one of them.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, and going through this process with Jeff Bolig and trying to recount, if you will, my playing days. It's interesting as I talk to former teammates, or even talk to Jeff, the things that burn into my memory that I remember, and the things that I forget. And oh my God, I forgot about that. And talking to my teammates, the same thing. Bill's not that way. I mean, the guy remembers everything. And I bet it's really frustrating if you're ever going to get into a debate with him about anything, because he's going to remember it. And I mean, what a great attribute. It's hard enough for me to remember what I had for breakfast.
No doubt. I was going to say the same thing. And I'm lucky a lot of times if I can remember what happened in the game the night before. Was it last night? Was it 2 nights ago?
Yeah.
What was the score again? And, I got to look that stuff up. All right. Last question, the walk-off question. We've talked certainly in the audio portion of the podcast about the book, Without You, A Story of Thanks and Appreciation. What was the process like for you? Because you got to dig deep on this type of stuff. It's very personal. And I've got to imagine was you said reading back through it, there were tears reading the manuscript, but what was that process like to dig down deep and go so personal?
It was very emotional, first and foremost, but it was emotion also that brought me to the point that I wanted to do it. I was so thankful to have somebody like Jeff Bolig along the way who could take my thoughts and put them into something that was readable. Not just me babbling and saying, hey, I love my dad, I love my friends and family and all this kind of stuff, but actually kind of drag some things out of me. Hey, what were you really thinking and feeling, because it's not easy to share those things. But I was also always overly worried about A, upsetting somebody, B, leaving somebody out, or C, just making it all about me, because it parallels my life. That's what takes us through this journey, but it's about the people and not a look at me project. And that's difficult to do. I think we did about as good a job as we could do, all things considered. I have Jeff Bolig to thank for that, but it was difficult. It really was, especially that, the cancer, divorce, business failure, how it all just kind of caved in at once. Those are tough lessons to learn. But I'm fortunate. My kids are great. I'm healthy now. Have remarried and have stepkids that I love, and kind of getting some of that time back that I lost with my kids, if you will. And then to see my own kids grow up, which is always the mission. Cancer's not going to beat me. They need me. There are things that I still want to see and do. And thankfully, I've been able to do that thus far.
Yeah, and share it with so many others, which is an incredible blessing and will help other people with the inspiration and the stories. The book, Without You, A Story of Thanks and Appreciation. If you happen to like basketball and KU, it'll be a bonus. But either way, this is a book that really can apply to anyone, no matter what we do. So again, congratulations. People can find that book, jeffgueldner.com. And I really appreciate all the time.
Thank you very much, Joel. It's been great.